And welcome back. Well, that time of the year again, or that time of the season, I should say, we're coming up to our primary in June, and we have a candidate that I think you're familiar with in this area, definitely, Mimi Walters. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, nice to have you on. You are a congressional candidate for this district, the 45th district.
That's correct.
And it's quite a diverse district. It has obviously this area. It has parts of Villa Park and Tustin and Rancho Santa Margarita and Coto de Casa. I mean, it's really quite a diverse district, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I've represented most of the district or all of the district in the last 10 years in the state legislature.
Yeah, you have. Now, the districts that you've represented, they were redefined at certain times, right?
We went through redistricting.
Yeah.
So 2012 was the first election we had with the new lines that had been drawn. So my district, my Senate district, had shifted just a little bit.
Right. But you're definitely familiar with this
I've had
area.
Laguna Woods for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely familiar with this area.
Yes, you have. You are. No question about that. Briefly, just a little bit about your background. If somebody, you've been around this area for a while, but give us a little background about yourself.
So I was raised in Orange County. My parents came here in 1965 when I was 3 years old. And I grew up in this area, love it. It's my home, raising my 4 children here with my husband, and worked in the private sector for about 10 years. I was in the investment banking industry. Mm-hmm. Then went on to serve on Laguna Niguel City Council for 8 years. Had an opportunity to run for the state assembly, served in the state assembly for 4 years, and currently I am in the state senate, serving my 6th year in the state senate. So those last 10 years, it's gone by awfully quickly.
Yeah, I bet it has.
Yeah.
And obviously you are used to working with, for the most part, people on the other side of the aisle, mm-hmm. as they like to say. Let's talk about the congressional part of this, and really the Republican Party. You're mm-hmm. a Republican, mm-hmm. so that's why we'll talk about this a little bit. And I think what we've seen in the last several years nationally is a Republican Party that in some cases has become quite disjointed with the different sections, so to speak, the Tea Party, the religious right, what we might call the middle of the road, mainstream Republicans. What do they have to do to come together? There's been a lot of infighting. Even amongst the Tea Party, there's different mm-hmm. factions. Well,
I think that can be said not only from the Republican Party, but the Democrat Party yes. as well.
Right.
Both sides have different points of view. And
mm-hmm.
I like to look at the fact that I think it's healthy. It's healthy for our party to respect other points of view. Mm-hmm. And I think we get our best policy when we bring everybody together and take everybody's opinion into account.
So you think that they can come together in a cohesive...
Absolutely. It's a democracy. And
right.
different ideas and different opinions is what makes this country so great.
Right. And to be fair, we saw this probably 8 years ago with the Democratic Party. It was the same type of thing. And it took them a while to kind of get together and get their platform ahead. And we'll see if the Republican Party can do that as well.
Well, the elections will certainly tell us now, won't they?
It definitely will. One of the main topics, and you have put this on your website, and in fact, I looked at your website yesterday, and Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, yeah. whatever you want to call it. And what you put on the website says the Obama administration's takeover of our healthcare system was wrong, and I will work to appeal Obamacare, replace it with the market-based reforms that protect patient choice and keep costs down and preserve the greatest health system in the world. Let's talk about that as far as there are, whatever the numbers are, 7 to 8 million people that have signed up. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's been a percentage of that lost their health care and had to sign up. But we can't just take that away from them now. So is this more of you would look at parts that you would like to keep, parts you would like to change? It looks like it's probably in some form going to be with us.
Well, look, people come to America for health care from other countries because we have the best health care in the world, mm-hmm. and that's no secret. Obamacare is not the answer in solving the issues we have with our health care because, listen, it's not a perfect system. We do need to make some reforms, but Obamacare is going in the wrong direction. And you're absolutely right. Millions of people have signed up, but overwhelmingly largest percentage of those people lost their coverage. And when people last year found out they were losing their coverage, their premiums were going up, their deductibles were going up, that's not what they were sold when the president came forward with Obamacare and wanted to put this issue before the people. So suddenly now people are saying, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And we need to make significant reforms. We need to allow patients to be the ones that are talking to their doctors to make the decisions as to what's best for their health care, not government. We need to allow people to have coverage that works for them and not a one-size-fits-all coverage. We need the insurance companies to be able to compete so that we can keep the costs down, so that we don't have these high deductibles and we have competition. We also need to restore the $700 million in Medicare that Obama is taking from the healthcare system. We need to restore that. So we have a lot of problems. This rollout has been an absolute disaster. And I believe that come this next election, Obamacare is going to be the single issue that gets the Republicans the majority in the U.S. Senate.
Do you think, you obviously have been working at the state level
Right.
for many, many years, but on the national level, one of the things that the Republicans had not done is come up with their own cohesive plan, at least to, for lack of a better term, to battle what the president and his party was putting out. Do you think therein lied part of the problem?
Well,
that they couldn't come up with, okay, here's our plan that we're placing forward?
First of all, it's a very complicated plan. The Republicans have come out with a plan, similar to some of the things I just mentioned and making it more of a free market system. But you might not be seeing that in the press, but the Republicans definitely do have a plan. And what the Republicans are going to need to do is when they are campaigning for election, they have to campaign on the solutions to the problem. And they have to get their message out to the voters. And listen, people, unless you can touch and feel an issue, it doesn't really affect you. And think about the drought. In the state of California, we have a horrible drought. But you and I, we turn on our tap water, and our tap and water comes out, right? So we don't think we necessarily have a drought, but you talk to the farmers in the Central Valley, oh my gosh, they're really being hurt by the drought. Take Obamacare. People have heard about it, talked about it on the radio and the news. Now suddenly, people are feeling directly affected by this issue. And you know what's going to happen in October? 80 million people, roughly 80 million, are going to be receiving notices that they have a new health insurance plan. Those are the people that are on group plans. So come October, people are going to have higher deductibles, they're going to have higher insurance premiums, and they're going to have less coverage. And that's going to have a real dramatic effect on this election.
Well, let's hope that everybody can come together, so the people that really do need coverage and or the people that have been denied coverage, that part stays, but there are other ways to go about it. You've talked about, even at the state level, a strong defense. And I know you're a great proponent of that.
I am.
And do you see some changes that need to be done there, more technology, which we often hear about cost overruns and things like that. Briefly, what would be your take on it?
Well, first of all, my father served in the military. He was in the Marine Corps. And I feel very strongly that we need to have the best military in the world. My first election was voting for President Reagan. I turned 18 when he ran, and he always believed in peace through strength. And I believe that as well. And, countries don't have to necessarily like us, but they need to respect us. And right now, we are not respected in the world. If we were respected in the world, I don't believe that Vladimir Putin would be invading Ukraine right now. I don't believe that the president of Syria would have used chemical weapons on his people if we were strong. but they don't view us as being strong, and we need to show the world that we are strong.
So you think that at this point, in fact, I think I even heard that on the news recently, something about that we're not looked upon as the superpower we were once. We may internally be, but we're not looked upon that way.
No,
anymore.
when you have a president who says to the president of Syria, you use chemical weapons on your people and you have crossed the line, and whether he should have said that or not is not the question, but the fact is he did say it, and then he did nothing about it. So other leaders in other countries are saying, hey, wait a sec, he's all talk and no show. And what kind of message does that send to leaders of those other countries?
Right. Taxes. Obviously, this state, we all know about this. We've seen one of the highest in the country. I think New Jersey overall is highest, although in many cases our property taxes aren't as high because we have Prop 13. But nationally, we're looking at ways to, you're looking at ways that if you get into Congress of lowering taxes, wasteful spending, and I think the government's always had wasteful spend. I don't know, almost every level there is. Some is inevitable, but you want to look at ways to really be able to reduce that.
I believe that people who work hard should get to keep more of their own money, that they can make better decisions of how to manage their money than the government. And if people have more money in their pocketbook, then they're going to be able to spend it on the economy and stimulate the economy. And so I very much support lower taxes, just as Ronald Reagan did. And my hope is that we will have an opportunity to lower the taxes, because I think the people in this country are taxed too high.
Okay. The race is coming up, the primary, I should say, is June 3rd.
It's
am I
June
right?
3rd. I know that date well.
Yeah, and a lot of people probably, I'm sure, have gotten their sample ballot, and maybe if you vote by mail, you've already gotten that. I know we have. You know, last thing I want to ask you very, very quickly is about business regulations. I know you would agree that we have too many, although regulations we have seen when we've had not enough when it came to the banking industry and the SEC and things like that. It's a balance, right?
Yes, it is a balance. And the best way I can sum this up is, for example, in the state of California, we have too much government regulation when it comes to businesses. And Andy Puzner, the CEO of Carl's Jr., says to me, you know what, Mimi? It will take me 6 weeks to build a Carl's Jr. in Texas. It takes me 2 years to build a Carl's Jr. in California. So I'm going to Texas. We have Pfizer. Pfizer now is going to buy AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca is located in London. Pfizer has made it very clear that they plan to move their corporate headquarters and everything over to London. You know why? Because they get a better tax break over in London. We have to be competitive. We have to be competitive in the state of California. We have to be competitive on a nationwide business when it comes to our businesses. And once government gets too much into regulation and makes it difficult for businesses to survive and to thrive, the CEOs of companies are going to go look elsewhere. So we have to be very mindful when it comes to government regulation on our business.
Yeah, it's a world economy, definitely. And nowadays, a business can move anywhere they want.
Exactly.
It almost doesn't matter. I want to thank you for coming on today. Mimi Walters' website, very easy, mimiwalters.com. So you can find out more about her. She has some videos on there and all her points of views. And again, thank you and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Again, June 3rd is the primary, and then we go from there.
Don't forget to vote.
Yes, definitely vote. We'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.